Okay, let's see here.
We got a lot of hallway.
Picky, picky, picky. Hopefully that thing doesn't fall off.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Let's see if I'm connecting here. There I am. Okay. Andy's here. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
And Julie's here. Hi, Julie. And Catherine. Hi, Catherine. And we're just waiting to get a couple of seconds here. See if anybody else is going to join us. So we've got 7 on there. Oh, Pracy's here. Hi, Pracy. And we'll just wait here for a second or two. Jody's here. Hi, Jody. And we were up, then we're down. And okay. Well, more people will probably join us in a few minutes or whatever. Now we are on an hour later today, as you know, obviously, because you're here. So you know. So, the reason we're on is because I had an art journaling class this afternoon. It doesn't get, I usually don't get home until about 4 o'clock from that. So, anyways, and we'll talk maybe a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But what will we talk about first? Well, how about my mother? An update on what was happening with her wheelchair. Actually, this is kind of in some ways, it's kind of serious, or could be. I mean, nothing bad came from it, only some good came from it, I guess. But she said to me a week ago, this past Monday, was a statutory holiday here in Ontario called Family Day. So,
which I think is also aligned with President's Day.
Oh, yeah. It lines up with President's Day in the States. Just a coincidence, I guess. But anyways, so, not everything is open on those days or whatever. Well, I had talked to my mother on that day, and she said her wheelchair was broke. And I said, broke? And she says, well, I guess when they were wheeling her down to lunch or dinner or something, one of the attendants said to her that her wheelchair, there was a couple of bolts or something that were about to drop off or something like that. So they said, well, they take it and have it repaired and everything. They have someone comes into the nursing home on a regular basis to do maintenance on things like this because, I mean, after all, everybody's in a wheelchair pretty much there, right? And they had a loaner for her. Not as nice as her wheelchair. I mean, it was the one they gave her was very basic. It's not
doesn't have a lot of support on it.
No, it's not. Hers is customized to her, so it's a little bit more comfortable. There's support for her back. The seat is much more cushy and that kind of thing. So anyway, she had that. Well, then I talked to her later in the week, and I find out she's been in bed for 2 days. And I said, why, you not feeling well, or what's going on? And she says, well, no, my back's really hurting me and everything. It's that darn wheelchair that they gave me. It just doesn't have any support. They've tried to put blankets under me and things like that to make it a little bit more comfortable. And I said, well, wait, you haven't gotten your chair back yet? That seems kind of strange. I mean, according to my mother, it was just a couple of bolts. Maybe they had to order a part. I don't know, but nobody contacted me to let me know one way or the other about this. So I asked. And they said, well, yeah, it should be back, shortly, kind of a thing. It didn't sound like it was a major repair. It was just more or less general maintenance. I said, okay, fine. So, beginning of this week, on the Monday, I'm talking to my mother, and I said, so you got your wheelchair back yet? She said, no. I said, what do you mean you haven't got it back yet? Well, actually, I said, well, it's been a week. And she says, well, I know. And I said, did you ask them about it? I'm trying to get my mother to do some self-advocacy right here.
No, she probably didn't.
But she probably didn't. So I said, well, okay, let's let it go. I said, I'll call you tomorrow, the next day, and find out, what the situation is. And then I said, I'll make some inquiries. So we went in to see her, actually. the next day. And no, how'd that work?
No, I thought you sent a message off or something like this, but I don't know if she had already gotten it back by that point in time or what the story was.
I'm trying to get the timeline right
Yeah,
here.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
No, she hadn't gotten it back. I called her up and she said she still hadn't got her wheelchair back. And I thought, okay, there's something wrong with this. So she said she was getting it back. They're supposed to be bringing it up in about 15 minutes or something because
They misplaced it.
the physiotherapist came in and said, "What are you doing with that wheelchair?" And she explained to him, "Well, my other one, they're fixing or something." He goes, "Shouldn't take that long." And off he trundled and they found it. So they brought it up. All was well. But in the meantime, my mother's back was not in the best of shape and that kind of thing. Now, given that my mother does have a tendency to exaggerate things like this, but
Or make an excuse not to go down for dinner.
yeah, that was the other problem too with her. So anyways, I sent an email off to the administrator and said, okay, here's the situation, blah, 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 my mother, wheelchair, blah, 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 why did it take that long, blah, 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 and everything like that. Now, I wrote a very nice email because they're very good there. The staff are very good, and I figured it was something that was a minor slip up somehow. So I wasn't making any accusations or getting all hot under the collar or anything about it. I just inquired. Well, I got an email back. They said, yes, we checked it out and we're so sorry. They're profusely apologetic about the situation. I guess the person who came in to fix the wheelchair didn't come in on the Monday because the Monday was a holiday. Came in on the Tuesday, fixed the wheelchair, but no, how did that work?
No, I couldn't find the wheelchair.
Couldn't find the wheelchair. Asked one of the attendants there, didn't know the attendant was a student.
And she didn't tell him she was a student.
A student.
And didn't tell him that she couldn't give him the information that he was looking for.
No, so all she said was, oh, I don't know anything about her something. So he went his merry way. And I guess eventually it did get fixed and it got entered into their maintenance book. But the nurses or the staff on duty are supposed to check that book on a regular basis, hadn't done it. So
because they normally check it on a Monday.
That's right. And the Monday was a statutory holiday or something. It didn't anyways, it was just a miscommunication. But they were really good. They said, okay, we have now established a new routine. Every day the maintenance book is to be checked by who's ever at the nurse's station right first thing in the morning to make sure everything is there. So I think something good came out of that. And it also says to me, and I'm impressed with this, that they are trying their best to make sure everything is working well there. They didn't slop it off. I mean, they could have just turned around and said, oh yeah, there's a bit of a miscommunication error, sorry about that, and left it. No, they also went a step beyond that to put a routine into place so this would not happen to somebody else again. Of course, that doesn't end her complaining. She's been sitting at the same table since she entered the nursing home at the 1st of November. And there is a woman there who has dementia probably, and she's a little bit, well, according to my mother, I've never met this lady, but she's loud, she eats with her hands, she wipes food on the table, and lately has been taking all her dirty dishes and pushing them over on my mother's side of the table. And my mother hasn't liked that. And I said to my mother, have you spoken to her? Well, she said, I did. She says, I told her the other day, Elsie, don't you be doing that. But she doesn't pay any attention. And I said, well, Mom, and my mother was eating up in her room. She wasn't going down. And I was surprised that the nursing staff were allowing that. But then I also found out that they'd all been eating up there for a while because the elevator was busted and they were trying to get it fixed. And she's on the second floor, and I guess they eat in the basement area or something, the lower floor. So I said to her, well, when the woman comes and brings you your lunch, I mean, they'd already asked why she wanted to eat in her room because after all the situation was fixed up. I said, you tell her next time what your real reason is, that you're having this problem with this other person. I said, maybe they can, keep an eye on her a little bit more, maybe remove her dishes from her as soon as she's done so she's not...
Or move you to another table.
Now, I said to her, okay, if this continues, Mom, let me know. I said, I will contact somebody there and ask about the situation and see what can be done, if anything. Well, lo and behold, it must have been pretty bad because she turned around, she did tell them the reason, and they moved her to another table with a couple of ladies that are a little bit more with it, a little bit, they kind of the party girls. But now my mother's complaining because all these two ladies do is gossip about everybody else in the nursing home. And I says, well, at least you'll find out who's who.
However, like, you're in a nursing home, you don't have any outside stimulation.
What else are you going to talk about? Yeah.
Like, you mean, they'll end up talking about, and it's not like your mother has now talked about anything.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black because my mother does the same thing. So, anyways, and I guess the other day when we were over there, I asked her again how things were going, or when I talked to her last. I don't know. I get things all mixed up anymore with all of this.
Well, maybe she was afraid that they're going to be talking about her.
Well, maybe. Well, actually, my mother made a comment to them. She got up, she was done, and she was leaving the table. She says, "Okay, well, I'm going now, so I guess you can talk about me." And she laughed. She's making a joke. Well, my mother's jokes sometimes, I think she was just sticking it to them. Well, I guess they took offense to her, according to my mother. But I think all things are fine now because after all, they probably don't remember the next day. So, anyways, it's always fun. Never a boring moment with my mother.
Old people are lots of fun to deal with.
Yeah, well, I know. I have to deal with you all the time.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
so same with you.
Yeah, right. I'm the same age as you are.
No, you're not.
I am so. You're 61, I'm 61.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right. Oh, see, that's the other thing to go. Memory.
Yeah, well.
So what are people saying here? Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. And Chris is here. I'm inviting thoughts. Hi. And Cindy says you guys are blurry. Are we still blurry? Because I don't think that's...
Are you blurry on the one that you've got?
Oh, actually, I am. It is blurry.
Is the lens clean?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we need to clean the lens.
But mind you, it was like that. We should see that it was blurry here, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're not seeing it blurry there.
Mm.
Of course, how come there's no Kleenex in the boxes up here? Why are there empty boxes sitting on top of here?
Here.
Oh, I don't want that out of your pocket. Okay, give us a second here. I'm just going to see if I can... I don't think that makes any difference. Does it look better there?
I don't know. Still looks a little bit blurry.
Maybe there's something going on with the internet connection. Well, I don't think it's the lens on the camera. Well, sorry about that. I don't know why it's blurry. It could be the internet connection. It may clear up a little bit. Sometimes it does. And if not, squint. We'll look clearer then. Tracy says it's fine for her.
Oh, okay.
And Cindy says, okay. Okay. It's okay now, she says.
Oh.
But Catherine says, I find them blurry as well. And Andy says, I hope my son puts me in a home that is good like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Cindy says, no, not now. No, not now. No, it's not okay
Could
now.
be your streaming isn't. What happens is when you're receiving it, if you're not getting enough bandwidth, then it'll make your reception more blurry.
Cindy says, I got out and came back in and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Roy is here. Hi, Roy. Hey, boys. Hope you're all well. Looks like the photos of Elizabeth Taylor as she aged and advertised diamonds. Oh. He says, all clear on my end. Okay, well, I guess it must have something to do with the internet connection. Actually, I saw the Bell guy today down doing something down the thing, so who knows what they've done. Sorry, we can't do anything about it. It is what it is, so sorry if we're a little blurry. Okay, so hopefully it'll clear up. So what are we talking about now? Oh, what's coming up on the vlog? I've got lots of things to show you tomorrow, and got today my art journaling class. I'll show you my sculpture that I made, but I'm showing you that tomorrow. Catherine says she rebooted and you're clear now. So, okay. Like it's actually...
Reboot you.
Yeah, I'll boot you. Boot you in the head. Yeah. Kick you in the head. Oh, Bootsy says, wow, just got crisp and clear. Ironically, I'm watching us on my phone, and it's blurry on our phone. So, okay, well, we'll just see whatever it is, what's happening, because there's not much we can do about it. Okay, so, lots of things to tell you tomorrow on the vlog and show you. Art journal class is next thing. So today we were doing altered objects. So this is my group, that we have our art journals and things like that, but we like to switch it up a little bit. And so everybody brought with them like something they found mostly at the dollar store that they could alter. And it was kind of cool. There was some really neat stuff that people did. There were boxes and there were frames, and one of the women had a wooden giraffe that she altered with stuff on. It looked really cool when she got done. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Now we don't have an art journal class next month. Well, actually they're having one without me. I guess that's the sign of a good teacher when your class doesn't need you anymore. Because we'll be in Australia. But they want to get together anyways, and then
that joke. Old
what?
Teachers lose their class.
Yeah, no, old teachers never die; they just lose their class. Yeah, and the May class we don't have one either because all of us will be pretty much everybody in the class is going to the crop that the store that we meet in is having that weekend. So that'll be fun. In fact, we're going with a mission. There'll be a lot of people there that do scrapbooking and card making. So we're going to set up a little table with some of examples of some of the things that we've done in the past. Sort of set up a little mini art gallery like kind of a thing. And hopefully get a few more people that might be a little afraid of doing mixed media, thinking it's something that's really hard or difficult. Maybe get them inspired and interested to join in on our group. We'll see. And push a few of the products that we use that are available at the store as well. Help out the store owner a little bit. Actually, I sold several things for her today. I bought a couple of things and everybody else saw them and thought they should have them too. So actually, I'm going to show you what those are tomorrow on the vlog. So that was that. Oh yeah, did everybody see the Academy Awards? Oh my God, what was with the dresses? Trains were right off the track. Then there was the left or right boob that had something over it. And then there were the ones with the huge
Is it the one
bows.
that accepted the award for the favorite or whatever? I forget what her name
Best
is.
actress, yeah.
Best actress?
From the
And
favorite.
she's wearing a dress with a big bow wrapped around it.
Yeah, I know this thing. Those dresses, for the most part, were hideous. The only ones that looked really good were Julia Roberts. She was wearing something that was simple but classic and elegant. And there was another actress there that some of the ladies at the sewing class were talking about, and I can't remember who it was, but had a simple, like, it was a nice dress, but it was simple, like that, and elegant, not this woof kind of a thing. No real women would wear those kind of clothes.
Yeah,
So-
but a lot of times they want to wear something special that those ones to stand out.
Well, I think they get approached by the designers, too.
Yeah, but they wanted to make I don't know if it's a statement, but they want to stand out.
Well, they certainly did, some of them.
Some of them just about did nose plant. When
Yeah, because they couldn't walk in those. Well, the trains on them were, like, what were they trying to do? Sort of like
They're
a Princess
tripping over
Di
stuff, I
train
don't
or
know.
something. Who had the big long train in the royal family wedding? Was it Kate? No, Kate didn't have a long train. And I don't think neither did, what's her name? That Prince Harry married. Well, whatever. Oh, Charlize Theron, a Tracy says, looked like Cruella DeVille. Yeah, I can't remember what she was wearing. Chris says, I love Olivia Colman. Great actress from the UK. She was
Yeah,
great.
that's her.
Oh, is that the one that won the...
the favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good actress and everything else, but whatever she was wearing was weird.
No, but her acceptance speech was the best one of the night. It was hilarious.
Well, that's because she probably didn't expect to win, and she was really nervous,
Hi, Yannette.
and she didn't know what to do when she got out there.
No,
It was pretty obvious.
but hers at least was entertaining. These ones who have to thank
At
everybody in
least it
their
was
family.
genuine.
Yeah. I want to thank my wife, my husband, my 2 children, my grandparents, God.
You ever hear them thanking their ex-wife?
Yeah, well, yeah. I want to thank my ex-wife. It drove me into acting. Well, whatever. But actually, I kind of didn't mind it that they didn't have an MC this year. it's kind of moved it along a little bit more. But Roy says we went to a B&W Ascot, or black and white Ascot ball theme party. Someone came in with 101 small Dalmatian plush toys attached to a full-length white faux fur coat. That would be hilarious. Hey, next year's Halloween costume. Actually, it'd be better. 101 and a half. You have one cut in half and hanging off the side looking like it's bloody. That would be good for a Halloween costume. But then again, that's my sense of humor. Okay, so that was Academy Awards. So I got to bartend on Friday night. You know that we used to volunteer at the art gallery for what they called RMG Fridays. First Friday of every month they have this entertainment sort of thing, and there's a bar. Well, I got asked if I could bartend for this particular night. And I said, sure. And I had a laugh and a half doing that.
And you originally thought it was a volunteer position.
I thought it was originally a volunteer thing, but it wasn't. I got paid for it. Actually, I got tips. I got $95 in tips. And they're also paying me like $14 an hour, 6-hour minimum, so another $84 on top of that. Not hard work, really. And it was kind of fun. But there were some real winners there, I can tell you. This one young girl, probably mid-20s maybe, early 20s, she comes up, she orders a beer. Okay, I get her beer, I open it for her, put it in, I said, that'll be $6. And she's looking through her purse going, oh. She had absolutely no cash on her, and her friend that was with her, she didn't have any cash either, because these are modern 21st century girls. They want to know if we took debit. And we don't. And the strange part about that is the art gallery is actually set up because there's a gift shop and they take debit. But where the bar area, it's kind of a portable bar that they set up, it's right in a part of the building where there's a lot of heavy concrete. And so I guess it's hit and miss whether or not they get a Wi-Fi signal to work with their, card reader kind of a deal. So they just don't bother with debit there. So there I have an open beer. And off she toodles. Well, what are you going to do? Hold her down and make her wash dishes? Yeah, no. You're going to be my bitch for the next 3 hours, all right, since you can't pay for your beer. No, I don't think so. So anyways, I was able to paw it off on somebody else, though, shortly thereafter. Somebody else wanted that particular brand. Oh, look at this. Have one already. And, technically, I don't know what the rules are for that, but I have a feeling that that's really not something you should do, at least in a commercial bar. A drink can't be just sitting there already kind of opened and poured.
We might have pushed the cap back on a little bit.
Well, actually, I did, and I kept it in where all the ice was so to keep it cold. And then, but anyways, it was kind of fun. I kind of enjoyed doing that. So I might do it again in the future if they want me. I don't know if they'll want me or not, but we'll see. Tracy says, oh my God. Okay. Whatever. I'm not sure what the oh my God's for, but there it is. So that was Friday night. Walter was at his sewing class, and Walter wants to show you his rug. Show your rug.
Yeah, my rug got finished.
Last week you saw his big balls. This is the final product, and this is mine. So there we are. Our 2 rugs. What we're going to do with them, not really sure.
Well, you put yours in front of the back door, so.
Yeah, I said I didn't really want anybody standing on it. But actually, that's out by the hot tub, so it's going to be okay there.
I haven't done anything with mine yet, though.
No. But anyways, they turned out pretty good, I think. Considering that it's kind of tedious to make. Of course, you think that you might make another one if you get...
Actually, I was thinking what I might do is... I have a nice jelly roll, and I was thinking maybe...
Yes, you do have a nice jelly roll.
Making a couple of round mats for, on the table.
Where heads are getting cut off. I got to get a new thing.
Yeah.
Losing it. So you're doing what? Did you say?
I know. I was thinking of taking a retreat in case I got bored or something, and making a table mat, not as big as that one. Mm-hmm. Should measure one of those ones, and make one that's like a table mat. Where you can put something on it.
Yeah, well, what I would suggest though, you make it for the table downstairs.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to cover up the glass
No, no.
on
okay.
that one. Because that's the whole point of that
Yeah.
table. It's the centerpiece. But whatever, yeah. And you've got, how far are you on your table runner?
I'm just finishing the binding. I haven't finished it yet.
Well, it's coming along nicely. You had a few, what would you call them? Somewhat machine challenged people in your class?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, one lady's taking the class. I mean, she's a nice lady and everything else, but she has to do everything exactly the way the teacher is telling her to do it. And she's so afraid that she's going to not remember how to do that next time around. Right? And she's even out there taking pictures of the teacher and all this other stuff. And a lot of it's common sense. You just sort of like are being shown how to do something. And the way I sort of look at it is it's not so much that you have to follow them exactly, but you have to understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like cutting the fabric and squaring it up. And she's going like, oh, well, I have to have the seam at the top and not at the bottom and all this other stuff because she's showing this thing. And in actual fact, you can put the seam at the top or at the bottom. It's just you can still square it up that way.
But on the other hand, too, she probably wants to learn how to do it the right way the first time. Not like me. I did everything the wrong way several times. Still do. But if it works, is the way I look at it. Phyllis says, picture finally cleared up a tad, not 100%. When you walk around to fix the camera, it got clear. Is your autofocus on or off? Nope. Because this is on an iPad. And it doesn't have an autofocus.
Well, it is kind of an autofocus.
Is it?
Yeah.
But I don't think we can turn that on or
No,
off.
I don't think we
Plus,
can.
I haven't adjusted anything. But yeah, I'm looking
And
here.
we're seeing,
Yeah, but I'm looking here on the phone. See, I'm watching us on the phone.
I think
too.
it's the transmission to YouTube.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's doing on YouTube. Is there something set on your YouTube?
No,
thing,
everything's supposed to be the same as it's always been. I didn't touch any settings or anything, so I don't know. So we just have to put up with it. I don't get it. It never fails. Like, the problem is this. You don't know whether it's a problem at your end or it's a problem at YouTube's end. Because YouTube, and you've heard me say this before, will never, ever talk to its content creators. It never tells them if there's a problem. It never admits that there's a problem. They're just like Apple. Apple, no, everything's always perfect with Apple. It's always user problems. So we don't know. Phyllis says, go out and come back in. Work fine for me. Oh, Catherine's saying that. Hi, Carol. Phyllis is on an iPad. Yeah, okay, so let's blame it on the winter, Phyllis says. Okay, that's what we'll do. I'm sorry about it, but I can't do anything
right at the moment.
right at the
we
moment.
can't
I
do
mean,
anything.
the best thing I could do is I would have to end the stream, reset everything, reboot, and come back on, and by then, who
we
knows?
still don't know if that'll work.
No, so I'm not taking the chance on that. So, well, you guys are used to it. Freezing up, falling off the table. So this is just another one in the continuing. What is it? Bootsy Sweet Tart.
I thought
says-
last week we were kind of blurry too. But,
Were we?
Yeah. We were rewatching ourselves last week.
I wonder which one we're on. I might be on Clio 1. They should be on
Not
Clio
that
2. I don't know.
Not that that makes any difference.
Well, one's a faster one than the other,
Yeah.
I thought, but I never found that makes any difference. But anyways, what is it Bootsy Sweet Tarts starts with? Things about life or something and other disappointing events or something like that. So, whatever. And Cindy said, I went out and came back in and it cleared up. Bootsy says, I wish my bathroom mirror looked like your first 5 minutes of the video stream. Okay. Just close your eyes. All right, so what's newsworthy? Well, a couple of things in our province. So, you may or may not know this. Well, if you're not from Ontario, you probably don't, because you probably don't care. And why would you? We have a sex ed curriculum in the school system from K to grade 12. it's all designed for age appropriateness. It talks about a lot more than just basic sex functionings. It talks about, bullying. It talks about LGBTQ community. It talks about alternative families. It talks about, no means no. All this kind of stuff. But it does it all at an age appropriate level. So, like, kindergartens are not learning about, as according to the government, about how to perform oral sex. Okay? No. In fact, I don't think any of the grade levels are. But that's what the government said people were saying about the curriculum. They had surveyed these people. So there's a big conflab about it. They wanted to revert the curriculum from the 2015 document that included bullying, transgendered people, all kinds of issues out there. I wanted to revert it back to a curriculum that was written in the late 1990s. The world has changed in 20 years.
Yeah, before, I guess it covered things like sexting and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And they want to revert it back to a time when nobody had a cell phone, so.
Yeah, so they're going backwards in time. So the teachers, the elementary school teachers, the union, took the government to the courts and said that, now they said, and I don't know, I guess this is the only way they could make a case, but they said that it was taking away the freedom of expression of teachers and the rights of students to have a clear education that fit the 21st century kind of thing. The courts dismissed it. The courts essentially said, no, you don't have any grounds for that. However, the court said, if a teacher wants to can teach the curriculum the government decides on, but they can also go beyond it and teach the one that they're replacing this curriculum, the one that talks about, sexting and no means no and bullying and all that kind of stuff, if they so desire. That there was nothing saying they can't do that. So, of course, the government is all up in arms about this because they surveyed 72,000 people across the province, and the vast majority of them want it basically for kids to be told that birth control is an aspirin and that LGBT community is just a myth and there's no such thing as a transgendered person, and, nobody texts bad things or whatever. So if a stranger comes up to you and says, hey, little girl, want a chocolate bar?
Yeah, it was not just that, it's what is inappropriate touching and stuff like that.
Yeah. So all the stuff that kids need to know today, and it was all done, age appropriate. So that's the whole thing. So just stupid. And then what he's now trying to do is he wants to suspend hiring any new teachers, until the next budget comes out. And then the next budget will not come out for a year. But he's also trying...
No, I think the budget's coming out sooner.
Well, he said the next budget. There's a budget coming out in March.
Yeah, I think that budget.
Okay, so does that mean in the next 2 weeks, don't hire any new teacher? Well, the thing is, most wouldn't be hiring any new teachers at that point. The only time they would have new teachers at this point in the year would be because somebody's away on an extended leave for illness, or someone's on pregnancy leave or something like that. And most of those are not people that are hired just out there. They are people already in the pool.
That's how I took it, that it was the next budget, which is...
Well, I thought they mean the budget after this budget coming out.
No.
Well, either way, he wants to do that. But I think what he's leading up to is he's already trying to raise the class size from K to grade 3. Class sizes, for years, the unions have fought to lower the class sizes because, let's face it, a class of 36 kids, which is what he wants to raise it up to, or to 40. Think of this. One teacher, 40 kindergarten kids. I don't think there's anybody out there that can handle 40 kindergarten kids, or 40 grade 1s, or 40 grade 2s, or 40 grade 3s. I couldn't handle a class of 40 grade 12s. All right? For a number of reasons. You just can't. Especially little kids. They get into everything. They haven't learned the rules yet. So just imagine that. Imagine when you're getting them ready as a classroom teacher for recess in the winter. They all have to have coats, scarves, mitts, gloves, boots, the whole bit. One teacher doing that. Yeah, by the time the teacher gets them ready to go outside for recess, it's time to come back in. Just mayhem and chaos. How about individual attention? It's hard enough for a teacher with a class of 25 or 26 to give every student as much attention as they really deserve or need with that. Plus, you have special needs students that are integrated into these classrooms. Now, they usually have a helper with them. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's any help, because I had some that were special needs students in high school, and they'd come in with a special, with a, what they call them? Jeez,
Teacher's aid?
Yeah, teacher's aid. And some of them were really great at what they were doing. Some of them were no more than a glorified babysitter and just sat there with the kid looking bored and couldn't help them. Plus, some of these people weren't, like I'm teaching university-bound English students. This teacher aide that's sitting there may have early childhood development in their background, and that's it. They may not have taken anything in English since they were in high school, kind of a deal. Things have changed, okay, between that. So how much of a help can they be to a special ed student, as you know, special needs student? So anyways, it's no, but it's still nice to have them there. But so I don't know, this is crazy. What he's doing is he's trying to cut down the deficit. That every government has a deficit, and it never ever balances. Mm-hmm. But he's doing it on the health system. He's doing it with the teachers. Those are the two areas that get attacked by every government when they need to find money. So reducing the number of teachers is not going to help anything. So compound that with the sex ed kind of thing, what he's doing, what's he going to do next? I'm glad I'm not a teacher anymore, quite frankly. And I tell people who have the kids that are going into teachers college, I say, why? Why?
Yeah, I know. I having lived with a teacher for this long, the amount of work that teachers are required to do is phenomenal compared to what you have to do in the business world.
Yeah, it is a hard job. I'm not complaining about that. I chose my career. I didn't have to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher. And yes, it was exhausting and it was time consuming, and that's why I'm now retired from it, and I don't look back. I enjoyed it.
I had one lady that I was working with that went through teachers college, and she tried to become a teacher, and she had trouble with discipline.
Oh yeah.
In the class, and she said, "Oh my God," she says, "what teachers do, I have the utmost respect," she said, "for teachers, because I know what they do, because I try to become a teacher," and she says, "there is no way that I could do that."
When I started teaching, it was totally different than when I ended from teaching. In the 31 years, the kids got wilder. They got stupider. And what I mean by that is, if it wasn't on a video screen, they had no clue. They didn't, when I first started teaching, kids were expected to take notes. You didn't give them handouts for everything. Now, if you walk into your classroom and you start talking about something, or you even write on the whiteboard, because we don't use chalkboards anymore because chalk dust is an allergen. So we use whiteboards with markers that always ran out after one sentence, and said to them, write this down. They wouldn't. They just look at you. I don't have a pen. I always had a big supply of pens. There's one now. And believe it or not, a lot of them couldn't write. I wrote on the board. Now my handwriting sucks, and I realize that. But I remember writing something on the board, and I used the capital letter. Yeah, I used the capital cursive for the letter Q. They didn't know what it was because they don't teach cursive in school anymore. But the point is, I'd have to hand out for every one of my classes tons of stuff that I had a photocopy and the whole bit, because those were their notes. So when they go to university, I used to, like now, professors come in, do everything on a PowerPoint, and apparently they can just send it to all of their computers, and there they sit with their laptops, and it just goes into that. They don't know how to take notes. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to research. And it's not because the school system has not taught them how to do that. It's because it's effort. And if it's not a Google search, like they don't have libraries in universities much anymore. The kids,
Or they don't have any books.
No,
they have
well-
libraries, but no books.
yeah, the kids can do everything from their room.
Computer.
Yeah, from the computer, and they all go, okay. So I'm a dinosaur. We didn't have computers like that when I went to university. I mean, that was 1976 to 1981. Okay, that stuff hadn't hit the market yet. So whatever. So anyways, back to this whole thing about class sizes and whatnot. By increasing it, that's not going to do kids anything any better. You're not going to get good quality teachers coming into the system if you're going to treat teachers like you treat the way like a worker at Walmart. It is a profession, but the government never recognizes it as a profession when it comes to money and the whole bit. And teachers don't make a lot of money. I think we make more money as teachers in Canada than in some parts of the world, but it's still not a lot of money.
If you consider how many hours that you actually have to
Well,
work.
yeah, everybody thinks a teacher's day runs from like 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon with an hour off for lunch. No, it does not. I was at school by 6 o'clock in the morning, and I left school ended at 2:30. I was home by about 4. Some teachers stayed till 6 o'clock at night. Of course, a lot of them didn't come in until more like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning too. It all depends on which way. I'm a morning person. I like to go early in the morning because there was nobody there. I could get a good solid 2 hours of work in before anybody else came. Plus, you have all the extras like parents' nights, and those are command performances, and other events in the school that are command performances.
And
And
that's all part of your salary. It's not like you're getting.
we're not getting paid extra for that. Like if you coach a team in some schools in the States, you get paid extra for that. Not in the Canadian system. And in fact, you're expected to be running some kind of extracurricular activity as well in the school. And those things usually happen during your lunch or after school and whatnot. And most teachers want to do that anyways. I mean, because we understand that's part of our job, but
So-
we want to do that.
What are people saying?
So people are saying, hi Laura. Let's see. Backing up here. Carol says, if they bury their heads in the sand, it doesn't make the ignorance go away, talking about the sex ed kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Phyllis says, as an aside, they're interviewing the CEO for YouTube tonight on TV, talking about recent problems with kids stuff. Yeah, we're coming to that.
Yeah, we're coming to that.
Yep. Chris says class sizes need to be smaller, not larger. Students need the occasional individual attention with to catch up, or developmental issues are just a little extra. If class size are large, kids get lost. Yes, that's true. And she says her daughter's a teacher. She's currently teaching in the UK. Tracy says certain group wants to keep people dumbed down. Yep. And Bootsy says same in the States. The regs and inexperienced political managers made me leave my principalship. Yeah. Teacher unions are fighting, Phyllis says, for large classrooms here as well. They finally won out in a couple of areas in California and Colorado. Yeah, well, we fought for it for years to reduce the size and put a cap on them. And that was a bitter battle for many years. In fact, we went on strike once in the 90s over that
When
issue.
Doug Ford or whatever, the guy here that's doing it,
The premier.
They haven't yet run into the union thing with the.
Yeah. And Laura says everything is digital now, so every kid from grade 7 to 12 has a Chromebook. Yeah. which I like. I think that's great because it's technology, using it in the classroom. I went up a few months ago to a new school north of us. Some of my friends that I used to teach with are there, and I happened to be up there because one of my friends, we were taking an old sewing machine up there to use in her fashion class, and she took me around, and I went, wow. I mean, it's been 6 years, almost 7 years, 7 years this June that I retired. Whoa, that time's gone by fast. And just the change in that 7 years with the technology, it almost made me want to go back to teaching because that was something I thought was great. But there are certain skills that the kids are not necessarily like it because if suddenly they couldn't get on the internet, if suddenly their Chromebooks weren't working in something and there was something important and a teacher actually had to write stuff up on a whiteboard or something and say to them, copy this down, you know what they would say, the kids? Oh, God, no, I can't do that. And they just wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. And their parents would support them for that. That's where a lot of the problems come from, too, is modern parenting now. But I'm not a parent, so I can't say too much about it because then I'll become criticized because, what do I know about being a parent? Nothing. I know a lot about being a teacher, though. Chris says they're loosening the ability to research and interpret data to form their own opinions and conclusions. Yes, and that's dangerous because of the influence of the internet. They're targeted on the internet. I used to teach media as well as English. And that was one of the things I talked about is why is it that suddenly you're doing a search on the internet and you're getting advertising coming up for things that you're kind of interested in? Because there's things called cookies. They know what you've been looking at and they have algorithms that know what you're interested in.
It's like if I've been researching hotels in Australia, all of a sudden I get targeted and I get all these advertisements for hotels in Australia.
And also, in the media class, tried to teach the kids how to see beyond what was being shown as real on TV. Like reality television shows. I think we've discussed this once before.
Yeah, we did that, yeah.
They have to learn how to read between the lines and look beyond the screen to know what is real and what isn't real, or at least learn a healthy skepticism so they can make an informed opinion on things. And that's
like what you have to do with politicians.
And like what you have to do with the sex ed curriculum. Okay, who's calling me? Excuse me, I'll just take a call. Hello? Hello? Okay, that was the wrong number. Wasn't anybody trying to sell me anything? It was just the wrong number. Okay. So, what was I going to say? So, bringing it back to the sex education thing. The sex education is to make them informed because you watch television. What do you see on television? You see girls who are model beautiful, wearing skimpy clothes, and out trying to attract a man. That's dangerous. But I taught a lot of girls that's exactly what they thought was the right thing. You have a lot of boys that watch television programs where women are abused. I taught a lot of boys that thought that's how you treat a woman. Their education's coming from the television. It's our jobs as educators to make sure that they understand that that is fantasy, that's not the way the real world works, or it's not the way the real world should work. And I'm sorry, but their parents aren't doing it because if their parents are both working, they leave the house in the morning before the kids get to school. They get home after the kids have already gotten home from school and are up playing their video games or stuff like that. What kind of control do they have? I don't think it should be the school's responsibility to bring up other people's children, but that, unfortunately, is exactly what schools now do. And it's been left to teachers to do that by the parents.
Anyway, I think you should get off.
Yeah, okay, fine. Well, you get me on teaching, so whatever. So what did I say? Phyllis says, pretty soon all of us seniors can write mystery letters to each other in cursive. I went in debt to buy the kids a good set of encyclopedias. And Laura says, so I upload my lessons on Google Classroom and mark the digital work. Yeah, I think that's great. Dictionaries stink because the kids don't know how to spell and look the word up. Yep, that's true, Phyllis. Kids are also losing their problem-solving capabilities. Yep. And then Jody says, why do kids said me and I was taught to say, yeah, Doug and I or whatever. Perhaps I have it wrong. No, you have it right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Some of the new teachers that are coming into the system don't know grammar. Why? Because at one point in the education system, it wasn't fashionable to teach basic grammar. So, anyways, Walter's going to bug me here to get off the topic. And Priest says, I've seen a lot of millennials who accept everything without question. Dangerous. Yeah. But anyways, so that's what our Ontario government is doing, is just destroying us one way or the other. So, what's eating us this week? Okay, here we come up. I've been debating on how to bring this up to people. Last week, I think it may have been Tracy or somebody brought up the fact that a lot of big name brand advertisers pulled out their advertising dollars from YouTube because they didn't want their brand associated with child pornography. And I had not heard this.
Yeah, neither did I.
And we knew nothing about it. So while we were having that discussion, if you remember last week, Walter looked it up on Google. And then
I still didn't quite understand it. But
we've done some more research into this to find out what's going on. And essentially what it was is one guy that has an awful lot of followers on there said that people are posting their home videos on YouTube, as people do. And some of those videos show children. Like children in the family swimming pool, a teenage girl reading a book sitting on her bed, wearing a pair of short shorts because it's summer. Different things like that. And there are these perverts out there, these pedophiles, who are watching these videos, and then they're time stamping within the comments certain sections for other pedophiles to go to that section of a video and watch it. It isn't that there's child pornography on YouTube. It's that these twisted minds of these people are getting their jollies by saying, go to this part on this particular video and you're going to see
I don't know,
a little girl,
a compromised position.
a compromising position or something like that. Like a little girl in a bathing suit on a beach somewhere on family holiday. Little kid running around in a diaper.
I don't know, I'm guessing.
We don't know. And this guy caused a whole lot of controversy talking about this whole bit.
And I guess there was a glitch in YouTube, or not really a glitch. You know how I said you look up Australian hotels and then all you get is advertisements for Australian hotels? Well, on YouTube they have a thing where if you show an interest on a certain kind of video, then they'll post all these other videos that are associated, that are along the same theme on your list as other ones that you might want to view, right? In an effort for you to watch more commercials, right? So what was happening was that if somebody had clicked on one of these, picked ones with little kids in it, that all of a sudden all your references end up being other movies of little kids.
Yeah, so what we were saying before about like things like on Google searches and that, where it records what you've looked for in the past and suddenly try to find advertising and things that they think you'll be interested in. Well, it works this way with pornography too and whatnot. So there's big controversy. These big name advertisers pulled out. Content developers are, like, there are people on, as everybody knows, on YouTube there are people, like, we're monetized, but we don't make any money basic off it because we're small potatoes. But some of these ones who have like 1 million views for one video, they're making some decent money to the point where that's a job for these content builders. And the ones who make really sophisticated and very professional videos, you know, because they've spent in time on it, that's their job and that's their income, are upset because now they're not being monetized.
Yeah, now that there's a lot of advertisers that have pulled out of the system and they're not getting the advertisements that they thought they might be getting.
So you know, but this was all caused by this one guy, and YouTube took a knee-jerk reaction to it. Now, who was it, Tracy or that, who said that the CEO of YouTube is on TV tonight? I went and looked at some of the interviews that have been done with this because there's a lot of complaints. I didn't know this until I started researching it. A lot of complaints about this lady who's the CEO. And apparently she's been running YouTube into the ground since 2014, since she became this CEO of the whole thing. So it'll be interesting if we find it on TV tonight or something to watch this, to see what she has to say. So what's this leading up to? Okay.
Okay, one thing that I have a thing about is that, yeah, I didn't really realize that this kind of thing was happening with the pedophiles and all this other stuff, right? And I guess you make sense. A lot of people are willing to post videos of themselves on YouTube and not really understand what the audience is on there. How is that? Am I describing?
I have no idea what you're talking about now because it's just I wasn't really listening to you.
I'm
sorry.
I'm just sort of saying that I think it's sick that these pedophiles are watching these videos. People that are posting there
don't expect
that wasn't their intent for that to happen.
The other thing too is what they're showing. Okay, I have a little problem. Again, I'm not a parent, but I have a little problem showing a video of a 3 or 4 year old running around in training pants or a diaper, with nothing else on the house. But the people taking these videos are their parents and they think it's cute. Like they just learned how to walk or whatever. They're not thinking there's these horrible people out there that are getting their excitement from seeing a small child in a diaper. All right? Like, my mother never did this. I'm the oldest in my family. I never remember a time when my mother did not have my younger siblings fully dressed at all time. I don't remember my brother or my sister ever running around in the house in nothing but a diaper. Nothing like that. So, yeah, they had a diaper on, but they had clothes on too, on top of it.
But that's this modern age, and that when we were little kids, even if you took a video, it's not like you could post it on YouTube.
No. Now, mind you, we do live in Canada. It's a little bit colder here, so, really wearing the clothes is probably good. But I digress. The point is this. I made a couple of comments, okay? My first comment was, when Walter was looking it up on Google, I said, because I reviewed the video after what I'm going to tell you in a minute and why. I made the comment that I wonder if there's a video about this on YouTube. I wasn't being funny, I was being serious because I figured that YouTube, if they're already doing this, they have probably put up a video explaining why they're doing this. And I thought that might be a way to find out what this whole situation is because I knew nothing about this until it was brought up here last day. And then later on in the broadcast, I made a joke. Okay, in hindsight, the joke maybe was not appropriate at the time. But let me tell you this. My sense of humor tends to be a little bit sarcastic. But I made the joke that we're talking about the number of people that watch and how they generate money by the number of subscribers and viewers you have to a video. And I'm saying, I'm small potatoes. I mean, I think I'm doing really well when we get like 150 views on my vlog or on live, in a week's time. I said, so maybe what I need to do is have some child pornography. Okay, in hindsight, looking at that comment in that context at that point, yeah. I was trying to be sort of funny. I have no filter. Sorry. Whatever with this. But I figured, I didn't think anything more of it. Like, whatever. So, later in the week, a comment was written underneath that video, the live. It was character assassination. The lady who wrote that, I'm not going to say her name. I was actually all prepared to call her out on this. I'll tell you that because I was really pissed. All right? I'll be serious. I was really pissed. But I have calmed down. I've thought about it. And I'm thinking I am not going to stoop to her level. I deleted the message. I don't think anybody really saw it because as soon as somebody writes a comment on one of my videos, I get an email notification. So, but the funny thing was the email notification that came up and I see the comment in my email said, and I'm reporting your channel to YouTube. What? What's this about? What's going on here? So I went to the video, I looked at the comments below, and there was this long comment saying, child pornography is not something to joke about. Yes, I agree with that exactly. And then it just ripped me apart. You were a teacher. How could you say the things that you said in there? I'm going to unsubscribe from your station. I'm going to report you to YouTube because you're promoting child pornography and pedophilia and all this stuff. And yes, and you're a horrible individual, and on and on and on. It went. I went, delete. And now I wish I had taken a copy of it so I could read it to you verbatim. But I was seeing red when I saw that because that hurt on so many levels. One, we're gay. And in that message that she wrote, she implied that because we're gay, we're pedophiles. Wrong. If you look at the statistics on pedophilia, the vast majority of pedophiles are straight males in the age range of 35 to 60. Straight, not gay. 2, I was a good teacher. I was a damn good teacher. I rose to the position of department head. I was respected by the people I worked with. I was respected by the kids, and I was respected by the parents of those kids. I never did anything in 31 years of my career that would ever put a kid into jeopardy on any kind of level. So yes, I took her comments personally. 3, it is very easy to be a critic and to write comments in social media where people don't know who you are. So that gives certain people this right they think they have to share their opinion as being the only opinion that counts and to criticize everybody else out there. No. Say it to my face. If she had a problem with me, she could have written me a private message and we could have had a little discussion about it. As I said, I made that one comment as a humorous joke. I would have apologized for that. I would have said, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. I am not that kind of person. Obviously, she hasn't been around too much. She's been on the channel and watched the live before, but she's a lurker. She never participates in anything. So that, again, put your money where your mouth is. 4, making content on YouTube is not easy. And this is why it's not easy. I'm not talking about the technical issues that go into it and the equipment that you need to do it. I'm talking about the fact that you are making yourself vulnerable by putting yourself out there and talking to people about whatever things you're interested in and engaging people like we do in this live with conversation as best we can. We're sharing a piece of ourselves, and that makes us vulnerable. I appreciate the people who come on here every week and watch us and talk to us. I do. Many of you I consider, even though I've never met you, to a certain degree as friends. But you don't know everything about me. And I don't know everything about you. So it's really easy to stand outside and criticize. And that happens in life, in every walk of life, doesn't it? But I saw red. So I want you to know some things. 1, I am not a pedophile. 2, I find child pornography one of the sickest crimes that can exist in society. 3, I was a teacher, a good teacher. I may make comments about kids, like, okay, how do you stop a kid from crying in an airplane? Open a window. That's my sense of humor. If you really believe that I would actually try and do something like that, you're an idiot. And I don't need you. And if that means you're going to not come on my vlogs or on my channel and watch anything, so be it. That's your choice. No one's twisting your arm to watch me or listen to me or us at all. Now, I'm probably speaking to the choir here, okay, right? But needless to say, I was going to block this person because I had the ability to do that, but she took herself off, which says coward. Again, put your money where your mouth is. So I really felt a need to discuss this in case any of you saw that comment, but I don't think anybody did. I think I caught it real quick. But I thought I should state this because just in case anybody else out there thinks that I'm some kind of horrible pervert. I'm not. I'm not the most perfect person in the world, but I am definitely not that. So anyways, that's all I want to say about it. As I said, I'm probably preaching to the choir. So there it is. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for people to boost up my morale or my spirit. My spirit is still here. My morale is fine. My self-esteem is still intact. But I just thought that was just nasty. And as I said, I have an evil imagination. In my evil imagination world, if I was ever to meet this person on the street and they were on the sidewalk and I was driving my car, I would ride up on the curb and on the sidewalk and crush them with my car. And again, that's my sense of humor. Take it or leave it. It's me. Okay, moving on. What are people saying here?
He might have scared them off.
Chris says, don't let the cyberbullying get to you. That's what she was, a cyberbullying. Yep, that's true. Creating drama when and where she can. Probably done it with others and will continue to do so. Yeah, and that brings us back to the sex ed curriculum. Cyberbullying is part of that. Kids need to learn about cyberbullying. And yes, and cyberbullying isn't limited to just kids. Adults get it too. In this day and age of social media, there's a lot of bullying going on. Even bullying that isn't quite as pronounced. You know, when people body shame people. This happens a lot to young girls on there. You know, the mean girl syndrome. Like, oh my God, look what she's wearing. Look, she's fat. And that kind of stuff. And it happens to boys as well. And that kind of stuff. So all that was in the sex ed curriculum, to bring it back to that, which our premier thinks should not be taught. Yeah. Right. And actually, he himself is a bully as well. So there you go. And the Americans know all about that too because they got Trump and he's a bully as well. Okay. So moving on, now that we've had the very serious thing, let's move on to anything else pissing you off?
No.
Nope. Okay. So we're watching on TV. Okay. We just finished The Umbrella Academy. Loved it.
No,
Oh no, we still got one episode, the last episode. Oh, we haven't seen it. Don't anybody tell me. No spoilers here. I really liked it. It's very strange, but I really liked it. I thought it was good. And I'm watching, he's not watching it, but I'm watching this one. I still haven't figured it out yet, whether I like it or not. It's called Night Flyer. It's sort of a science fiction thing. It's kind of a lot of violence in it and stuff. It's hard to explain what it's about because I'm still not sure. I've seen 3 episodes. Might watch a few more to decide whether it's good or not. Sounds like there's a lot of stuff coming out on Netflix in the next month, though, that looks really interesting. I was just watching a video, YouTube video about that just before we went on air. So, have we got any movies? No, we haven't seen to a movie.
We haven't gone a movie. I checked what was playing, but there wasn't anything on that I thought would be.
Well, what about Captain Marvel? I don't know. I could probably wait for that to hit video somewhere.
Well, I don't know. I was looking at that Alita, but I could wait for that one.
Oh, yeah. We're picky what we'll spend money on at the movies.
Yeah. There has to be something that really intrigues me to go. So, and I think a lot of people are like that. Well, really, it's expensive to go to the movies these
Yeah,
days.
I know.
If you want, in our area, if you want, it's easily $30 for tickets for 2 people. And then
And we seldom
get concession stuff. So, but still, $30 is a bit pricey.
Well, I don't know how parents with a couple of kids go to the show at night because the kids are going to want snacks and stuff like popcorn. You get a popcorn and a drink, it's like $20, and then the price of the ticket. I don't know how they do it. That kind of thing.
Yeah, we've seen where we've been in the show, and then we've seen people with families come in, and And then they've got like popcorn and drinks and everything
Yeah.
else. I imagine a family of 4 with popcorn and drinks can easily
Well over
go for
$100.
well over $100. So.
Dollars for the night at the show. I remember when they used to go to the Saturday night matinee, and my grandmother would give me a quarter to go, 15 cents to get in the show, and I still had a dime to buy a chocolate bar or a bag of chips or a drink.
Yeah.
Actually, probably a bag of chips and a drink. Okay,
Of course,
I'm dating
when
myself.
I was working at the show, and it was I was getting paid $1.80 an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and they were it was $3.25 to get in for an adult.
Yeah, so how times have changed on that.
Well, I guess you're getting old to talk about that stuff.
But speaking of the movies, I actually booked us tickets for a play, and it doesn't happen until the summer. But there's a place here in Ontario called Stratford, and they're known for their Shakespearean festival every year. Actually, they've extended it over the years. They've been doing this for over 50 years. They have permanent theaters in this town of Stratford. And they branched out from Shakespeare and do, some popular plays as well as some Shakespeare. And they're doing Little Shop of Horrors. And I love Little Shop of Horrors. And we were talking about this the other day. We think we've seen it on stage once before. I'm sure we have.
I think so.
Because I remember the plant thing and how they did that. And, feed me, Seymour. And if you've never seen the movie version of it, you should. Because it's a B. It's in the style of a B-rated movie, an old B movie, science fiction, and it's also a horror as well. It is kind of it's funny, but it's a dark humor in it. But they're doing it at Stratford, and of course, when they're doing it, it happens to fall around my birthday. So on my day of my birthday, we're going to see the matinee of that. We'll go for the weekend because this place is 2 hours away from us on that, and lots of quilt shops in the area too. So goes quilts, fabric shopping as well. So we've got tickets for that. They're not cheap. We've got good seats. I think we're 3 rows from the front, pretty much center.
Which is usually a little closer than I like, but it's...
Well, there was nothing in behind us.
No, I know
those
that.
2 seats were the only 2 that were available that day.
But, well, it's sometimes fun to be at.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about the price of a movie. Well, okay, this isn't cheap. It was $181 for each seat. So, but I'm worth it. There you go. But it's fun to do that kind of thing. So, we're looking forward to it. On YouTube, can't recommend a lot of new things. Although, we've been watching a couple of guys who talk about cruises. And they're kind of interesting. One guy's a Canadian. The other guy, I think, is from the UK.
And they're talking about things to do and not do on a cruise.
Yeah, they're travel agents, I think.
Basically, yeah.
But they actually give very good reviews.
And one guy today, we were watching him, and he's from Ottawa and thing. I mean, if you're Canadian, and we're used to having healthcare in this country, and when we travel, we always are very aware that if we go to another country, that we need to have health insurance when we go, because we're used to, if we're sick, we're used to being able to go to the doctor, right? And some people that he made a example of a couple of people that went on a cruise that were elderly and then ended up getting sick and having to find medical
They had to go to a
hospital, and then ended up complaining to the cruise company that they were out of pocket by $3,000 or $4,000 because of the situation.
They said they got kicked off the ship.
Yeah.
They didn't. The sickness was so severe that the doctor said, I have to have you removed from the ship for your health. And they were in Mexico or something, and they were going to put them in a hospital in Mexico. And the couple refused that. So the cruise line flew them to Miami because their policy is to fly you to the nearest hospital, depending. And they wanted to go to a hospital in,
New Jersey.
New Jersey instead, because I guess that's where their doctor was, where they were from and that. And so they tried to, they didn't sue, but they tried to get a full refund from their cruise and all of this because of the situation. Well, the fact was, it wasn't the fault of the cruise line. It was their own fault. We suspect that they probably didn't have health insurance.
Well, no, actually, this travel agent said the problem was that they didn't pay for travel or
Travel health insurance.
accident insurance or
Yeah.
medical insurance. And if you had medical insurance, they would have paid for all that stuff.
Yeah. So,
There are some people that will travel and take a risk with not getting medical insurance or not getting cancellation insurance. So if you have cancellation insurance, then if for some reason something happens where your flight or something like that gets canceled, then you get a refund for your trip.
we always make sure we have lots of insurance to cover all those kind of contingencies. And luckily, knock wood, to date, we've never really
Well,
had.
no,
or
actually,
did
we used the cancel. We bought cancellation insurance twice, or every time we've
Yeah.
got cancellation insurance. And when we were on our honeymoon, when we were supposedly when we got married, we were going to Disney, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
And you had an inner ear infection, and we had to cancel.
Yeah.
And because we had pre-booked and we had prepaid everything.
That's right, I forgot about that.
We had
Yeah.
to cancel, and we got most of our money back.
Which was
we
a good
also,
thing.
when we went to Egypt, we had a flight cancellation
At the last minute.
at the last minute, and we had to rebook. Mind you, we were out of pocket with some of it because flight cancellation only covered about $1,000 of the rebook.
Yeah.
But
And the
but it
rebook was on an airline that was, to die for.
But it was, but at least we got some compensation, right? And so when we travel, I mean, so far we haven't had to use medical insurance, but I always make sure we have medical insurance
yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught without that. Now, just looking at what people are saying here, there's a lot of comments here about various things. So, back to on Netflix and cruises. Project Blue Book, Phyllis has been watching. I started to watch that and I watched 2 episodes to it. I don't know if it got any better. I couldn't get into it. Alita was good as the movie, according to Chris. And Tracy just watches Oak Island, Live PD, whatever that is, and home repair shows. Now, Chris says we always go gold class, couple seats with recliners and waiter and food service, make it special date night. Oh, that must be for a movie.
Yeah, there is some theaters here that offer that kind of thing, but not in our area.
Yeah, Laura says Toonie Tuesdays. Do they still have Toonie Tuesdays?
Yeah, they do,
Oh.
but they're not toonies.
Oh.
It's reduced rate.
Precy's waiting for the new Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. And now Julie says she was watching, I've just watched Dirty John on Netflix. I just wrote that down to check that out because I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's on there. It was just added fairly recently.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I've been watching Russian Doll, but I've only gone into about 3 episodes. I find with that is I find it interesting and humorous, but I can only handle 1 or 2 shows at a time.
Well, that's the one that's like Groundhog Day, isn't
Yeah.
it? Where she keeps dying and coming back
Yeah.
and trying to change it. Chris loves cruising. Yeah. They're talking about Dirty John. He was an awful person, but they took him out of something. Cindy says, I was being bullied on Facebook. I simply said to this person, thank you, and then deleted them. It drove them crazy. Yeah, I guess you got to take the higher road on stuff like this. That's what I said. That's why I was all prepared to call this other person out and the whole bit. And Walter didn't really want me to do that. But I said, I'm getting sick of this being politically correct stuff all the time. Like, sometimes I think, okay, I have a group of friends, and they're good friends, and they're nice people. But if I open my mouth and state an opinion, I usually get cut down. I'm not a stupid person, okay? No, I'm not. And my opinion is worth as much as theirs. But for some reason, they go, oh, Steve, don't do that. Like, dismiss me. Like, you're a bad boy. Kind of thing. Sometimes, depends on my mood. I can be a moody person. As if you haven't figured that out. That kind of irks me. But anyways. Okay, Jody says she Live PD. She says, yes, yes, yes. They're every Friday and Saturday night. Love it. What is Live PD? I don't know what that is. Tell me, so I can look at it, watch it. And she also recommends Dirty John. Very good. Yeah, everybody seems to like this Dirty John thing, so have to check
Maybe
it
they
out.
like the
Maybe it's the
like
name.
the title.
Oh, Dirty John. Why is he dirty? Okay, let's get off that. Because next thing I know, I'll get a big message going on. Oh, you're all about Dirty John. Oh, dirty, dirty. Oh, oh. Whatever. Chris says, I was bullied at work. My bully was great at gaslighting. It went on for 4 years. It was like a deer caught in headlights, still in recovery.
It's gaslighting.
I'm not sure what you mean by gaslighting. I'm not familiar with that term. But I'm sure it has something to do with they were probably doing it not in necessarily right in your face obvious way, but maybe doing things behind your back that were, I don't know. You'll have to fill me in on what you mean by that, Chris. What are you doing? Looking up gaslighting?
Yeah.
Okay. Pracy, it's the new 2019 version of Cops. Oh, okay. That's the Live PD. Okay. Oh, Chris says manipulate someone by psychological means into doubting their own sanity. Oh, okay. I get it. Oh, yeah. I've met people like that too. Yeah. They're probably the ones that are the most dangerous. I mean, one thing when they go, oh, you're fat and you're ugly, we don't like you. But when they play with your brain and your emotions like that, that probably does a lot more damage than somebody who just right in your face. Because when people are right in your face, you can just take your hand and say, talk to the hand, face is not responding. Simple as that. I'm still reading the same book. Okay, so what's cooking? Walter's been baking this weekend. He made brownies. No, not special brownies. Because we're going on a retreat. On Thursday, we're going to our sewing retreat. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we come home on Sunday. Shouldn't affect our next live because I think we'll be home in plenty of time for that. So we'll tell you all about the retreat. Walter's working on a new quilt. He's got, actually they're fabulous fabrics that they just got in the store.
Colors.
Very, colors are gorgeous that are in it. And I think the quilt will be really quite stunning as well with it. I've got about 4 different projects that I'm working on because I'm still working on that one with all the half square triangles.
Yeah, I'm frantically going because I'm not as advanced as he is, and so I've been trying to get stuff together so that I've got stuff to do when I'm there.
There's not one bloody mistake in his table runner. It's a beginner's
There's a
quilting
mistake.
class. Well, where is it? I keep looking for it because I want to sit there and do what you do to me. Oh, look, that's wrong. Okay. And I go, yeah, right. And that big 5,000 kilogram weight over your head that I'm about to drop on you like Wile E. Coyote. Yeah, no. But it should be fun, but we've got something special planned for either the Friday or the Saturday night. You know about, I don't think anybody watches this that takes any of the sewing classes, so it's okay to say. We on probably the Saturday night, we had these costumes from Halloween last year. I think we showed you them with the big blue wig kind of thing, and we had those glasses.
Purple wig, yeah.
The purple wigs, and we had these dresses kind of thing and light up shoes and socks and that. Well, those were our Halloween costumes for the party we went to. And so we're going to take those with us. And on the Saturday night, we're going to come into wherever we are doing all the sewing with all these people. And we've got little baskets. Walter found these baskets at the dollar store with looks like fake fur around the edges of them. And we bought a whole bunch of little miniature chocolate bars and a bunch of these gummies that they had on sale at Costco, big boxes, Fruit Sensations by Mott's or something, which actually are delicious. You should try them. And we're going to fill the baskets. And we're going to go through, and we're the sewing girls or the sewing queens. We haven't decided yet what we'll call ourselves, and pass these out to everybody on that. I know they're just going to howl. It's just going to be a scream and a half with that. So, kind of looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to this weekend for this sewing retreat because I know it's going to be fun. I know I'm not going to get as much done as I think I'm going to get done, but it's social. A lot of the ladies going to it know who we are now because we've been in their classes. Well, probably me more than you, but I'm sure they'll catch up. No problem. So kind of looking forward to that. And so Walter made these brownies, and he's still got cheese cookies to make. And we've talked about cheese cookies before. They're a Dutch thing. I don't know, are they exclusively Dutch or are they...
Not really. They're sort of like a savory cheese shortbread.
They're great. I love cheese cookies. That's the problem. You just can't eat one. And he also, I had a hankering for pie the other night. I love pie. But I could just sit down and eat a whole pie on my own and then blow up. But he makes great pies. So he had a couple in the freezer he made in the summer, I think, or in the fall. Peach pies?
Peach, yeah.
And so he cooked one of those up, and it's delicious. A little juicy. They always are.
Peach ones are always juicy.
Well, you got to try what our friend...
Well, actually, we have a
said.
friend that's a master baker.
Yeah, be careful how you say that.
And she said to use tapioca, but I forgot. So
Yeah, well, anyways, it's still good. I mean, it's a little deep dish, but it's still good with it. Use a spoon. You want to get every drop with it. So that's been what's cooking. What's for dinner tonight? Lasagna. Frozen lasagna. But he made it. But and he makes good lasagna. I don't cook anymore. He just cooks all the time. That's okay by me. I like to cook, but he doesn't like to eat what I cook, so that's why he cooks all the time. Pig. Chris says, cheese cookies sound so yummy. Would love a recipe. If you have one you are happy to share. Can you share that recipe?
yeah, I have.
Or do you have to do it like it may be...
I have it somewhere. Actually, what it is it's a Dutch recipe, so everything
Is in Dutch?
done by weight in grams.
Oh, okay.
So I think I have a conversion. I have to take a look. I think I have a conversion somewhere to Canadian type.
Oh, and you have to wear wooden shoes while you make it or it doesn't turn out right. Yeah, right. Whatever. Chris says, cool, love grams. Okay. Well, I'll scan. Do you have it actually written down?
I have it written down. It's actually pretty easy. It's 100 grams of...
Okay, Chris, got a pen and a paper with you right now? Because now you're going to get the recipe, and everybody else is going to get the recipe too, and you're all sworn to secrecy because this has been in his family for years.
If you can weigh your stuff and do grams, then you can get it. It's
She says go.
100 grams of butter,
100 grams of butter,
100 grams of sharp cheese,
100 grams of sharp cheese. Now, what do you mean by sharp cheese? Do you mean old?
extra old cheese or whatever you go. It's a like a cheddar or any kind of extra old cheese that you like to use.
Okay.
Then there's 100 grams of flour.
A flour. Okay. Then what do you do?
And a pinch of
Pinch
a very small amount of baking soda.
of baking soda.
Okay, and you basically mix all of them together,
Mixed together.
like knead them and everything else together.
What format does the cheese have to be in? Shredded?
Shredded.
Okay. And the butter, should the butter be at room temperature, kept
Probably
cold,
at room
or
temperature.
do you make it liquid or do you cut it in?
No, don't make it liquid. Cut it in,
Okay.
and you knead everything together,
Okay.
right? So, and then you form a log of some sort, like a
Roll it.
roll it up to a
Log.
log, which is about an inch in diameter, maybe.
He's got one in the fridge.
No, 2 inches in diameter. I haven't finished. I haven't baked them. I've rolled them all up. So
Okay, so they basically look like what you get,
I put them flat,
like cookie dough.
right? And then what you do is you refrigerate them
For how long?
for half an hour or an hour. You can do it as long as you want. And then till they're firm. And then you slice them into about, I want to say about,
An inch?
no, not an inch. You slice them into about half an inch,
Okay.
right? And then you put them on a baking sheet and you bake for...
At what temperature?
Actually, I should write this down and put it on there. It's probably easier.
No, we could put it on the comment section.
Yeah. And you bake them at 250.
250.
At 250 until baked but not browned.
Do you bake them on a non-stick cookie sheet?
Yes.
Or if you don't have a non-stick cookie sheet, can you spray it?
You can spray it.
Okay. Can you do it on parchment paper?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I'm just looking at all the options, and that's it.
Yeah, you bake it till it's done, but not necessarily browned. Okay, and you can. And they take quite a while.
How long?
They'll take about an hour to cook.
Okay, it takes an hour. Okay, at 250.
Okay, so
To recap,
actually, we will actually.
we'll put them in the show notes below, the recipe for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Laura says, yes, so when you bake shortbread, it cooks real low.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of got the texture of shortbread,
Yeah.
although a soft shortbread.
Yeah.
And Chris says, thanks heaps. Okay. So Julie says, sounds like cheese scones. No, they don't have the texture of cheese scones.
They're like a cheese shortbread.
They're more like a cheese shortbread cookie. Yeah. Are we out of the champagne?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to end then soon. So there's the sewing or the cooking tip of the week. And already talked about the sewing retreat coming up. So I think that's it for today, people. Next week we're aiming for 4 o'clock usual time, even though we're coming home from the retreat, but we'll be home before 4 o'clock because the retreat ends basically at noon. So yeah, and it's not that far away from us, about an hour and a half's drive. So we'll be back and we can tell you all about the retreat. And my vlog's on tomorrow as usual. And yeah, so thanks for joining us today.